All right, students, welcome to another story time. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed my favorite episode of Dora the Explorer, Berry Hunt. Mmm, blueberries. Yes, it's pretty great. So anyway, this story time is a little bit unique because I love to do it at school. Because we go on a berry hunt and we kind of explore the school. So we're just going to explore my home for a little bit and kind of make it work in this kind of environment. All right, so here we go. I hope you enjoy. Way back in Once Upon a Time, time is all good stories should start. My wife and I ran a property management company, and we took care of a lot of BYU approved housing units. Well, you would think those that go to BYU would be pretty smart. And yes, they are, but a lot of them are what we refer to as book smart and sometimes lose a little bit of the common sense. And so anyway, this experience is where this begins. I took care of all the emergency calls for property management. And sometimes I would get calls in the middle of the night and I'd have to go take care of problems. Well, one day I got a phone call in regards to a flood, or someone's water was spewing water, and it wasn't bad in the beginning. And I tried to walk them through turning off the water supply to that area so that I could take care of it the next day and not go down there and have to take care of it in the middle of the night, or really bright and early. It was about 1 or 2 in the morning. So anyway, in frustration because they could not figure out how to turn the water supply off, I had to get out of bed and walk down there. Now, it took me about a half an hour to get down to this unit. Now, if this person had known how to turn off the water supply where it was leaking, they would have saved the property owner thousands of dollars, because it flooded the entire house and we had to remove the carpet. And it was a nightmare, and it could have been resolved, and it was very frustrating. And I thought to myself, where have we failed our children? Where have we failed our students? Because education doesn't teach you all the things that I feel are very important for you to know. So anyway, today we are going to go on a so-called berry hunt. We're going to have a Dora the Explorer moment, if you will. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to explore some areas of the home. So here we go. The first thing that you got to do is you got to say backpack. Say backpack.
Backpack.
Yeah, good job. Come on over here. Come on over here. Turner is my helper here today. And so anyway, I want you to focus in on the backpack. Okay. Now what we got, actually focus in on me first. What we got to do, don't laugh at me. We have got to, dude, we got to control ourselves. We have got to find the emergency water and gas shutoff tool. The emergency shutoff tool. And so we're gonna use our backpack to find the emergency shutoff tool. And so here we go. Is this an emergency shutoff tool? No. Good. Is this an emergency shutoff tool? No. Is this an emergency shutoff tool? No. Is this an emergency shutoff tool? Yes. Very good, students. Now, okay. Now, in order to find these things in our home, we're going to go on a trip. All right? But before we go on a trip, we need to know where we're going. Who can help us to find out where we're going to go?
The map.
The map! Can you say map?
Map.
Boom, boom, boom. On the map, on the map. Okay, so I got a map here. All right, so where do we need to go to find the three main things that are supplied to our house that would be important for us to know where they're at? Now I draw the perfectly to scale drawing of what we need to do. So the three things that we are going to do is we're going to find the water, the electrical, and gas. So first thing we need to do is we need to go out and find the electrical. The water. Then we're going to go and find the electrical, and then we're going to go and find the gas. So I hope you're with me on this. Okay, so here we go. All right, come with me. All right, repeat after me. Going on a berry hunt.
Going on a berry hunt.
Gonna pick some juicy ones.
Gonna pick some juicy ones.
We're not scared.
We're not scared.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my students, here we go. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna locate the main water supply to your house. So this is where the city's water goes into your house, all right? So usually this is found next to the curb. And so we look down here, see, here we go. This is the main water supply. Now, technically, you have to find out which city allows you to access the water supply or not. But the city of Orem, actually, I found out this the hard way, they require you to call someone in to come and shut off your water main supply. They actually put in a device, so if this is tampered with, it alerts them and they will come out here. So if I open this up, eventually the city's gonna come out here because I tampered with their water supply. Okay, now in an emergency, I am absolutely going to take this off, and I'm gonna turn it off before the city gets here because it might take them some time to get here. But don't tell them that I've done that before. So here we go. I actually turned it off because we had a sprinkler issue, and the city was out here within a couple of minutes telling me that I'm not supposed to do that. They gave me a nice slap on the hand, but I was okay. All right, so anyway, if you pull this up, there is a shut-off valve in there, and that tool can help you shut that valve off. All right, now, here we go. Now, inside your house. Now, the only time that you would have to tamper with this is if you have a problem between here and your house. That's the only time that you would turn off the valve from right here. Now, usually a direct straight line from this right here, when you locate this, is where your main shutoff in your house is going to be. Okay, so hopefully you can find that. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk right here. And I know that this line goes into our house right here, and it's about 3 to 4 feet underneath the ground. So obviously it's gonna be in my basement somewhere, all right? But before we go into the basement, here is my sprinkler line. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, that tool that I showed you is actually not the actual emergency gas and water shut-off tool. They actually have smaller ones with a little lower profile that can help you get in there and turn it off. That one's actually a sprinkler shut-off tool, but I use it for both the water main and the gas. Okay, so right here, this is my sprinkler. This is my sprinkler shut-off. What this does is it goes underneath the ground and it ties into that water line, that main water line that enters into the house. And that's where that tool will go down there, and you can, it's a quarter turn valve, and you can go ahead and turn off the water to your sprinklers. Okay? All right, so here we go. Let's go in and find where you shut off the main water supply to the entire house without having to mess with the city coming into your house. All right, so follow me. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now, before we go into our house, here, let me turn on a light here. Somewhere. Oh, I just about broke that. Okay. So, before we enter into my house here, please do not judge. We are doing some laundry, and it's not as clean as maybe it should be. keep that in mind. Here we go. We're going into the basement. Oh, watch out for the grumpy old cat that lives under the bridge. You got to be careful. Her name's Shadow, so be careful. Here we go. Coming in here. All right. Oh, shh. There she is. If you don't give her a pet, she might get after you. There we go. Oh, cute little Shadow. Here you go. Say hi, Shadow. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, yeah. There she is. Simba. All right, we'll leave her alone. Okay, come on over here. This is our boy's room that's in the Army right now. So it's kind of vacant, and he's done a pretty good job cleaning it up. So if we look at this map, come on over here, we looked at this map. All right, we've got the city main water supply. I told you about the sprinkler system that connects to it. We walk down the basement in here, and right in this area, this is where the water supply is. Now, the reason why it's so important to locate the water supply is sometimes a lot of people will have the water supply covered. And if you don't know where it's at, you'd be in big trouble if you had a pipe start leaking or something and you needed to turn off the water quickly. If you don't know where this is, it could mean the difference of a $100 bill of cleanup or thousands of dollars of cleanup. All right, so we need to move this. Luckily, he doesn't have a lot of heavy clothes in here. So we're going to move this out of the way, and it should reveal the water supply. Okay, now, I got to get this out of the way even further because I need my helper to come in here and zoom in right here. There we go. Zoom in on this bad boy. I try not to cast a shadow. It's a little dark down here, but can you zoom in on that bad boy, Turner?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is called a quarter turn valve. It's very common. Much like the air valve, the air supply valve in the shop, if it's going the same direction as the pipe, it is on. If it's going the opposite direction of the pipe, it's off. So all I have to do with this one, and you always want to turn them slow. My wife might be in the shower. Let's find out if we hear her scream. Okay, I just turned off the water to our house. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it back on, nice and slow. And something was definitely on because I heard it, and I could be in big trouble right now. But let's move on. All right, so that's where the water supply enters into our house. All right. Okay, let's continue now. Where do we need to go next? We're going to go to the gas. So we're right here. Actually, let's go to electrical because I want to start with electrical right here in the house because right here we have our main water turnoff. But right in this same room, we actually have our electrical panel. So right here, now this is not the main electrical panel. This is not where the electrical line from the city enters our house. This is where each individual area in our house is taken care of. So we can shut down certain areas of our house with each of these breakers, these electrical breakers. So I can turn them off and I can turn them on and I can individualize it. And usually there's a map of where each of these are located. Hopefully, because it's nice to be able to say, okay, power to the kitchen or something. I can come in here and I can turn that off real quick. All right, so that's the electrical panel. Let's go upstairs. Here we go. Coming up here. Going on a berry hunt.
Going on a berry hunt.
Gonna pick some juicy ones.
Gonna pick some juicy ones.
We're not scared.
We're not scared.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
Okay, we're going over to this side of the house. All right, now, wait. Whoa. Shh. You gotta be careful because Pepper the fox is our dog and she could lick you to death. And so we're gonna be very quiet here so that we don't run into Pepper. All right, let's go. We're okay for now. Okay, there we go. Coming over. Oh, oh, oh! Watch out! Watch out! It's Pepper! Oh, no! Pepper! Wait! What? Oh, oh! Oh, such a cute doggy. She's not licking me to death today, but she will. She'll lick you to death. Sicken Pepper. All right. All right, come here. This right here is where the electrical enters the house. Now, it's pretty important. It's very important. We used to play pranks back in the day, and we used to turn off electrical to the houses, but I didn't realize what a mistake that was, and it's actually illegal to do. So you never want to do that. And if you think about it, you know, if someone was on some kind of emergency life support system inside their house or something, and you turn off their electrical, then that could be a very dangerous situation for them. So anyway, we have the electrical that comes in our house, and we can actually turn off all of the electric into our house by just pushing this switch right here. Okay, now actually, this won't do, yeah, this will do all of it. Okay, we actually have another one that, for an addition that we put on right here, that we can turn off a couple other, but this is more of a breaker box. This will turn off everything to the house. This is where the city enters the house. This will turn off everything. This will turn off individualized things to an addition that we put on. Okay, so there we go. All right, now we've got, let's talk about this. We've talked about the water. We've talked about the electrical. Now we got to go all the way over here and find the gas. It's on the other side of the house. All right, so here we go. Come with me. Yeah, Pepper. Say hi to Pepper. All right. Continue our berry hunt here. We're finishing it up. Oh, now she wants to play. Want to fish? Go get it. Go get it. Bring it back. Bring it back. Nope. She's not going to bring it back. All right, coming on over here. Coming over. All right, you can stay right here, Turner, and just get a view right here. Actually, I might have to have you come over here in just a minute, but
Okay.
right here, this is where the gas enters our home, okay? Now, a couple of things here that are important. Gas is another one of those things that you want to be careful when you turn off. Now, in an emergency situation, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, but typically you should have someone that, a professional that comes by and turns these things off for you. You want to do it slow. When you turn these off, go nice and slow, and when you turn them back on, go nice and slow. Right here, same thing right here. If you want to focus in on this, if you can, you might have to come over here. But this is where it would turn off. Now that tool that I have could get in here and turn this off, or you could get a really hefty wrench and kind of turn that off nice and slow. If it's going the same direction as the pipe, it's on, which it is right now. If I were to quarter turn this way, opposite of the pipe, then it would be off. These don't turn very easily. You have to put a lot of torque behind it to turn those.
Point to it again.
Right here. Right here. It's going the same direction. That means it's on. If I were to turn it, so it goes this way, it would be off. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. How many minutes are we on our video?
19.
19 minutes. I got time to show you just one other thing, or two other things. I want to show you the problem that this individual had that caused a lot of problems. Here we go. Let's go into one of the main rooms of the house. Watch out, stray dog pooped in our yard. All right, come on in. We're gonna finish up our berry hunt here shortly. But I wanted to show you one other thing. Come on in here. All right.
It's definitely a main room.
Okay, here we go. All right. This is definitely a main room, says Turner. Okay, so this is the bathroom. Now, every water supply to your house has its own individual turn-off valve. So I wouldn't have to turn off, if I want to turn off the water to this bathroom right here, I could do it right here. I wouldn't have to go turn off the water main. Okay, so one problem that was common in the BYU facility is a clogged toilet. All right. Now, a clogged toilet can cause all kinds of problems, because I found a lot of times people would think in order to clog a toilet, you would have to flush the toilet again and again. And that's just going to bubble up more water, and then it's going to go all over the place. You would think that they would stop doing that, but you would be surprised. BYU students never cease to amaze me in some of the things that would take place. Okay? Now, this tool is a very handy tool. I can get in here and I can plunge and clear out a clog from a toilet. 98% of the time, I could clear a toilet clog with one of these guys. Now, that other 2% sometimes required a heftier tool. This is called a toilet snake. And so I can get in here. It has this rubber part to protect the finish on your toilet, but I could go in here and then I can go and I can bring this in and spin it, and I can remove a pretty hefty clog with this device right here. Okay? Called the toilet snake. All right, that's pretty great. All right, let's see here. Zoom in here real quick. I'll show you this. Now, part of this home is a little bit older than the other parts of the home. So if you have an older home, typically your shutoff valves are going to be a full turn. You're going to turn it until it actually turns off. Typically, you want to replace those with what's called a quarter turn valve, which is kind of nice. This one's a newer valve. It looks like one that you twist all the way, but it actually is a quarter turn valve where you just turn it. Some of them just have one thing pointing down. This one has it on both sides, so I can turn off the supply to this toilet by just turning that to a quarter turn. Now remember, if you're in an older home, you'd have to keep turning it until it turns off. Okay, so that's that. Each supply of water has its own turn-off valve. So if we come in here, there's two of them in here, one for the hot, one for the cold. I could turn those off as well. Okay. I would show you in here, but I just opened it up, and that's probably a project for today to clean that out, to make it more accessible. Well, I hope you enjoyed our berry hunt, students. Let's wrap it up out here real quick. Come on out here, Turner. Thank you for helping me, by the way. It's been a really fun berry hunt that we've been on. Focus in on this map. Your assignment for this week, if you choose to accept it, your assignment this week is to locate all the things that we've talked about. And I want you to draw a nice outline of your house and label where each of the things are, okay? Now, as I told you before, you don't have to turn this in. This is just for your own self-improvement, but you should draw an outline of your house and label where everything is. One thing that I didn't have time to take you on today is a trip to our furnace room. In our furnace room, we have a couple of water heaters in there. You might have, now these are run off of gas. Our furnace and our water heaters are run off of gas. You might have electrical, so you want to determine what those are so that you know what to do in an emergency situation to shut those down, kind of thing. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this experience. I'm here to tell you that by learning these things, you could save yourself or someone else thousands and thousands of dollars. Just the simple fact of knowing where to turn these things off, where they're located, what to do in an emergency situation when they happen is very important. Hope you've enjoyed this experience as much as we've enjoyed doing it for you.